Headshot! Headshot!
If you think this is a scene from a blockbuster movie, you'll be totally incorrect. You'll also be totally wrong if you think it's a military combat zone in a thick tropical jungle, because this is a recreational sport called a paintball game, and it was put together by two young computer science graduates. On this episode, Talk TV journeyed to Agodi Gardens in the heart of Ibadan metropolis to engage with these young men so as to uncover the principles, ideas and strategies that help them to produce a multi-million naira income generating business from a simple recreational activity. Welcome, Abiodun Ashim and Maiwa Lawal, co-owner Magnus Recreation and Events Limited. Now, you have been able to build a business idea around a recreational activity called the paintball game. How would you explain the paintball game to a new inductee, for instance?
A paintball game is an adrenaline pump action kind of game,
Okay.
whereby you get to set up a team.
Okay.
There can be a team of 5, there can be a team of 7, but it has to be a side whereby we have a team A and we have a team B.
Okay.
And the purpose of having the team is they are facing each other to play a particular type of game, because in paintballing we have different type of games. We have capture the flag, we have kill the president, we have team deathmatch, which is the elimination game. So it depends on what the team wants to play.
Okay.
And when you're playing a paintball game, there are 2 referees mostly to refer the game so that there won't be cheating when the game is going on. And one thing about paintballing is when you come in to play paintball, you get to feel the action impact, whereby when we watch movies, like most of us when we were young, there's this game we used to play, we call it dodging fire. And that's exactly what paintball is all about. So all the styles, all the skills that you think you have in your head, okay, I can jump this, I can do that, you get to express it on the paintball arena. And the arena has a whole lot of barricades. We have towers, we have the drums, we have a tunnel whereby you can hide, you can jump, And a paintball game consists of different kind of gears, because even mere looking at the players, you will be interested to play the game, because you will see the player being geared up with
protective gear.
Exactly. We have a jumpsuit, we have a bulletproof vest, we have a headgear, we have marker, and the marker has like some gadgets that are attached to it. The marker has a HPA tank, the marker has a hooper, and with that, all you get to do is just put in your paintball pellets and the game starts on. So
in layman terms, your marker is like the gun, the rifle, that looks like a rifle.
Exactly.
And your pellets are like the bullets, right?
Yes.
So when somebody is hit, if it's the death elimination game, when somebody is hit, the person leaves the arena.
Yes.
If it's the capture the flag, once the team that gets the flag and is able to take it back to base is the successful team. So all you need to do is to look for a way by which you can gun down the person before it gets to base with the marker.
Yes.
I'd like to know, what is the job of the referee in that?
The referee needs to check around, make sure all the players are safe while the game is on, because there can be collisions while you're trying to hide from bullets coming or obstacles. And also to know, because there are some players who get hit and they don't let the ref know, like they try to hide it.
Yeah.
So the ref,
so that they don't get eliminated.
Exactly. So the ref's job is to make sure it's checking around and see if anyone has a paint mark on him, so it can eliminate.
So when you get hit,
yes, it leaves
the pellet makes a paint mark on you.
It bursts and leaves a mark on you. So it's made of, it can be green, different paints.
Yeah,
so when they see it on your vest, your mask, anywhere around you,
that means you've been hit by the pellet.
Yeah. So it can evict you.
So the referee does that. Are there other things the referee has to do?
Yes. Actually, there are sometimes they need to reload their guns. He has to be there for that. If they
It stops the game.
yeah, they can. There are times you can pause the game.
Okay, pause the
Yeah,
game. Okay.
there are times you need to pause.
Where
the
everybody
game.
remain where they are.
They have to. You can't leave your position when the ref signals for a pause. Everyone has to remain at their current position. So why they pause the game at times is if a player has an issue with the headgear, maybe it's blurry, the person wouldn't be able to continue the game.
Okay.
So he has to call on the ref to signify so he can help either change the headgear or wipe whatever is making it look blurry. So there are different things that can be happening.
Is there
while
room
the
for
game is on.
substitution like we have in football? You
Actually,
say it could be 5 on either side or 7 on either side.
actually, the game it can be flexible. We can be flexible with the type of game we're playing, but most of the time there's usually no room for substitution.
Okay.
But if the group wants that, sure they can.
I'm interested in one point you made about adrenaline.
Yes, about the adrenaline, you know, it's just like a football game.
Yeah.
By the time you run the whole pitch, your heart will be beating fast, and you feel like wow. Do you get? But one thing about paintballing, in a small space of time, by the time you jump, bend, you would figure out that what you're
Sometimes
doing.
you are crawling.
Exactly,
On the ground.
and
sometimes you are crawling on your belly.
You figure out that what you're doing in 5 minutes in paintball is what you're doing like 40 minutes when you're playing football.
Really?
Because paintballing.
Actually, I think when you start the game, immediately the ref blows the whistle to start the game,
Yeah.
and you realize bullets moving past you,
Are flying
the
from
sound
every-
hitting the barricade in front of you, like your heart will start
pumping up. Because one thing about
So
the game
that's-
is
that's the
throughout the
adrenaline.
game,
Yeah.
you are bending down. Take it or leave it. You raise your head up, you're out of the game. If there's a good shooter in the opponent team.
Yeah.
So you're always bending. If it's there, you're bending down.
Or crouching,
you're crouching,
or
or you're
crawling.
crawling. And when you're hearing the sound of the pellet hitting the barricade you're hiding behind, trust me, it's just like knowing someone is coming to stab you. You don't expect yourself
It's
to.
like a military.
Exactly. There are a lot
experience.
of we have a lot of military personnel that do come to arena.
You know, I've been to your center and I see your effort to create a jungle experience. Not just the jungle experience, but a form of experience where you have hills, you have like a river, like a brook. So all manners of natural things were created. I'm curious, do you have to have that to have a paintball game? You have to have that experience?
You don't have to have that to have a paintball game.
Okay.
A paintball game can be set up on a playing field. But you know, Jungle Field Arena is actually the most interesting part of the arena because, you know, war movies that we watch, it's in the jungle.
Yeah.
They get to crawl, they get to jump up, but if it's on the playing field, everything is just plain
The
and
fun
they
is
are
not-
just little or more barricades,
Agree.
and all you just need to do is to hide behind barricades. Your
Agree.
clothes is not getting dirty, you are not.
I agree.
So one thing about Jungle Field Arena is it is the best experience of paintballing you can ever get.
It looks more real.
Yeah.
It feels more real, unlike the artificial type.
Yeah, it gives you that natural effect,
Exactly.
that real life effect.
That okay,
which
yes, this
deepens
is
the
a do or
experience.
die affair. I must not get it. I must hide. I must jump. I must do all this. So before you know it, by the time there are a couple of times people come down to the arena and they will tell us, okay, what's up? I want to play this game. This game is for 30 minutes, and they say 30 minutes is too small. And I will just tell them, go and play. If you are not satisfied with the 30 minutes, I'll give you more time. And before you know it, 15 minutes, they will tell you we are done. Why?
So you really need to be very fit.
Yes, you have to be fit.
last long.
One thing about paintballing is
It's very intense.
paintballing helps burn fat.
Okay.
Some people make paintball their what's it called? They make it the sport that they get to do like every weekend.
So it's a physically intense.
It's a physically intense game. You
Well,
have to be
this program is not about paintball, it's about business actually.
Okay.
And so you've been able to explain to us how it works. and you guys have been able to create a fantastic experience, I must add. And I say kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
But what I find fascinating, which makes you qualified to be on this program, is the fact that you've been able to take that recreational activity and convert it into a business venture. What is your business model? How will you describe your business model to an investor, for instance?
Okay, paintballing is not the regular type of game that you get to play with like every other game of
Not
football.
like volleyball
Exactly.
or football.
And one thing about paintballing is what we try to set up here is the fact that look at Nigeria for an instance.
Yeah.
We have like I think 4 arenas in Lagos.
In the whole of Nigeria?
In Lagos.
Okay,
we
in
have
Lagos.
4.
All right.
In Abuja, now it should be 2. But when we started, it was just 1. None in Abeokuta when we started. Then
The whole of Southwest.
The whole of Southwest.
Lagos.
apart from Lagos.
Coming up. How do you raise revenue? What are the sources of revenue? You've been able to create this game, this paintball game, and you've been able to convert it into a business experience for you. Because I'm not going to pretend. You guys are trying to pretend, oh, we just want to create a recreational experience for people. But not be play. Now business for now.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Exactly. So if you were to meet up with an investor or someone like me who's curious to know how you make money from this, how will you describe your business model?
Well, I would say paintball is a good business to venture into.
Yeah, but how do you generate revenue from it?
We generate revenue from the public. And how do we generate it? Okay,
Good.
most of our target is the youth. Sometimes we have
Naturally.
some adults too that do come around to play, but then the youth are our target. Okay, paintball game is not a rare game. It's a rare game actually.
Very uncommon.
It's not common. So, and we try as much as possible to set it up inside Agodi Garden where there are other spots too that people definitely come to want to participate in. So whenever they see paintball, they come over.
So you have an existing recreational park
exactly
where there are multiple recreational games.
Activities there.
yes.
So what you did is just to embed your own game
exactly. So that
within
gives
that
us the chance.
context.
And that gives us the opportunity to be able to convince people that okay, have you played paintball before? Okay, no, we have.
You know
okay,
what you guys have done is just genius, I must say. You have these concepts that you know is uncommon.
Yes.
Rather than go set up at your own venue, you look for an existing park, and then you just embedded yourself within that park,
But one thing
so that
we
you
should-
can leverage on the existing traffic
exactly.
in the
But
park.
there is
the
one thing
patrons
we
that are already coming to the park, you leverage on that.
exactly. But one thing we try
Fantastic.
to work on as well is the fact that in the whole of Southwest, like I said, aside Lagos, we are the only one existing. So
Okay.
we try to.
So
to
your
connect
choice
with
of
every
Ibadan was
other-
also strategic.
It's strategic because if you look
Really?
at it, if someone from Oshobo wants to play paintball and is going to Lagos, you have to drop by in Ibadan before you get to Lagos. So why go to Lagos when you can get what you want to go and play in Lagos when you can get it here in Ibadan? And again, the one in Ibadan is a jungle field arena, which is a lot more different from what they have in Lagos.
Oh, really?
Most of the games they have in Lagos, they are all artificial ones whereby they set up a field.
Really?
So jungle field is here in Ibadan. So why go to Lagos when you can
So
get
you
it?
don't have the jungle field pinball game in Lagos?
I think there is one, but I'm not actually sure about the functionality.
Wow. I'm still interested in your choice of the location you have chosen.
The choice
I
of
like
the
the fact
location.
that you said you chose Ibadan because it was strategic. It's like a terminus. It's a hub for virtually every other part of Nigeria. Those who are going to Lagos must pass through Ibadan.
Ibadan, exactly.
And in your own thinking, since the youths are your target, the catchment area, the campuses around the southwest particularly, and in your own thinking, no one would want to go to Lagos to play this game when it already exists in Ibadan.
Exactly,
And
and
then
it
you
is easy
enjoy
for us
monopoly.
to travel to all the Southwest universities because we get invites from university to set up.
Prefer to invite us from Ibadan.
No, I will come to all of that. How do you raise revenue? What are the sources of revenue? I know that people pay to play
People pay
at
to
your
play,
center.
exactly.
Are there other sources of revenues?
Well, the other sources of revenue that we have is when we get invited by corporate organizations and universities to come set up for them. Aside that, we get our money from people that comes to play at the arena, and we have been able to cut out
So
some
you
stuff.
you have some institutions
Yeah,
that invite you over
exactly. We've been to about 7 institutions in the past 1 year.
to come and set up a game,
Exactly.
and you charge like a bulk amount for that, right?
Yes, we charge a bulk amount for that. What we get to do is, when you come to our arena to play,
Yeah.
there's a particular fixed amount for it. So
Okay.
if you are calling us out to come and play, we double the price because you're
Oh.
taking out of our own comfort zone
True.
to set up another arena for you.
True.
So it's an artificial arena whereby we go with other stuff, we go with arcade, we go with staffs, we get to set up an artificial arena for them, then they get to play. And we have a standard. When we are going out, less than 100 players, we don't do.
Okay, so you tell them the number of players.
Exactly. 100 and above. So that, in a way, gives us enough money because if we go to school, what we get in a day, we might not get it in a week at our arena.
So it's a form of bulk revenue for
Exactly, it's a bulk revenue.
you when you get invited outside your zone, your center.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And you said that institutions. What about individuals?
Yes, individuals too. Some of them have approached us before, but based on the fact of numbers, and
When you tell them it's a minimum of 100 players.
Now, there's one thing we used to give to them. It's a minimum of 100 players. We have a fixed amount to that.
Yeah.
So, but if you guys are 20 and you can pay the amount for the 100, we'll definitely show up.
Okay, you're that flexible.
Exactly.
In your
We get
pricing.
flexible with our pricing because we try to understand that the way some people get their money is different from the way other people get it too. So
And what people are willing to pay for some values.
exactly,
vary too.
exactly. But one thing like now at the arena.
So
too,
if the players are not up to 100,
okay,
and maybe they are just 10 individuals, 5 group of friends,
Okay.
and there are spouses making 10 who just want to play in, say, Ilorin or Ile-Ife or somewhere. If they are willing to pay what you would charge for 100 players, you're good to go.
definitely
Fantastic.
we are going to go.
What other source of revenue? You also touched on corporate organizations.
Exactly.
How do corporate organizations, how do they derive your services?
Team bonding, to be specific.
Okay.
Most of them like the fact that team bonding creates an avenue for staffs to be able to communicate, because if you are playing a paintball game as a team, you must communicate, you must strategize, you must plan.
Okay.
Because if there is no plan, you can't face the opponent. If the opponent have a plan and you don't have a plan, automatically you guys are weak because their plan can send you out of the game.
So besides you trying to be fit and having fun and also having this jungle experience, this combat experience, you're also bringing in, mental training and social capacity training, team building.
Yes.
Exactly.
So it's a multiple skill that you are generating, multiple value that you are deriving from the pinball game.
Yes.
And corporate organizations are leveraging on this. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's what I do.
And are you getting patronage from them?
Yes,
frequently?
we do. We do get a lot of patronage.
How does that work? You go to their business premises or they come over to your center?
Most of the time they find our work on social media, so
Okay.
they send a representative to come contact us through social media, or they come to our arena
Okay.
to see what we can offer. So we talk about how we can work together.
And that's been fetching you some good money income, I must
Like
say.
some companies, they try to do advert with their product.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's another revenue source.
Yes,
Yes.
it's another
To advertise
revenue.
within your arena.
Yes.
Exactly.
They advertise. We gear them up just to advertise some products that they have.
How does that work? Do they place the products or they just put the banners within your premises?
One of them is actually a phone company.
Okay.
So they were trying to promote the camera of their phone, how it can shoot well. So they try to record the game with the phone
Wow.
and capture the speed or how the bullet is moving.
It's flying.
It's flying, exactly. So
And that's a revenue stream for you.
Exactly.
And reckon also that placement of banners around your premises
yeah,
is
it
also
is allowed.
a revenue
Yes,
stream.
it's also a revenue stream for us.
Fantastic.
Coming up,
How did you stumble on the idea?
You know, if a competition is being set up, you
Yeah.
get more crowd to come over.
True,
And if you
true.
are advertising your products, depending on any kind of things that you do, once you have your banners, people that are coming to watch, because we know, apart from, it's just like a football.
Yeah.
I'll keep referring to that. As much
The
as
arena of
people
the
are
football
playing,
pitch.
exactly, we have spectators, we have people that are watching, we have fans. Do you get? So as much as they are watching the game, they are also seeing the stores around. So
Wow.
they can always pick up
So
the
you have
number or
leveraged
something.
on your crowds in multiple ways.
yes,
Brands will come in and place their banners around the arena, and
Exactly.
you make some dough from that.
Yes.
And those are about 5 or 6 revenue streams you've mentioned. Aside the gate taking that you take, I mean, those who will step into the arena and collect your markers, they have to pay to play the game.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Aside that, you've mentioned about 5 or 6 now. But like the Oliver Twist that I am,
Okay.
share with us if you can. Are there other revenue streams?
the last revenue stream that we haven't, or one of them that we haven't tapped into right now, is the YouTube revenue, because we are supposed to start. We are supposed to start a tournament, because this game it can be turned to a league kind of game or a tournament. So
Yeah.
which we can put online for people to watch, and
Okay.
also this can generate a
So
lot of
if you
income.
start a tournament, you make money how?
We get sponsors,
Okay.
but we look out for sponsors. If we get sponsors, we're good. If we don't, every team that's coming into the league will have a particular amount of money that they will pay to get into the league. And at the end of the league, the winner will get
A prize.
a prize. But
Okay.
from there, we will be able to, we would have tried
Make
our
some
possible
money.
best to make some money out of it.
Okay. And then the match, permit me to use match now.
Okay.
The match that is played, you record it and put it on YouTube.
Exactly.
And that
Yes.
can be revenue from YouTube. That's what Mayowa seems to be saying.
Exactly. If we have more views, and we are looking into having a lot of views too.
And I bet when the competition gets very popular, merchandising
Oh, sure.
and product endorsements
We've
by
had,
various brands will also be revenue
Well,
stream.
merchandising
We've had
is
that
also part of what
already.
we've done.
What you have done already?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'm surprised.
You know, where people get to come, we get to put the name of what their company on our jumpsuit.
just like the F1 race, we can have so many badges around.
Wow.
there.
So brands can be displayed on the jumpsuits as
Definitely.
Yes.
they
Even
can.
on the barricades, you can brand some of the barricades.
well. Wow. So this is a huge business opportunity. How did you stumble on the idea? Is this your first business
No,
No, this is not.
for the two of you?
No.
we've been together way long. Like we've been doing.
I gathered from the grapevine that you guys are cousins.
Yes.
Yes.
So we've been doing a whole lot of business right from time. We started from having a modeling agency. We went into event planning. From event planning, straight
Magazine
into
production.
magazine production. From magazine production, organize shows, tours. All these things we still do underneath. Like myself now. At some point last year, I started a printing press,
Yeah.
and I still do the printing too.
So you still do this on the side?
Exactly, and is into computer website development, and so
In fact, I was going to come to all of that. You know, you guys are computer science graduates.
yes,
And today, okay, I'm just being told now that Mayowa still practices
Yes, I do.
bits of coding and programming and what have you.
Yeah.
But majorly, you are into entrepreneurship in other areas, lifestyle entrepreneurs. That's what I'll call you guys. And you're doing it so fantastically well. But all of these other ventures you have talked about, it couldn't have been after you left school that you did all this.
no, we've been doing this right. I started way back since my under level days.
Wow, since 100 level days,
Yes.
you've been into this lifestyle entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And you mentioned tours.
Yeah, we've organized at least 4 successful tours
For who?
for students.
Your colleagues, and they were paying.
Definitely. What student wants is there's this stuff that all work and no play make Jack a dull boy.
True.
So
true.
what we try to do is we don't make it a regular tour. Schools organize excursions.
Yeah.
And when they organize excursion, is all this everything is like streamlined into one
Yeah.
thing. Like this is you.
It tends to be predictable.
We don't do that. What we get to do is we call group of friends. We create a WhatsApp group. We talked about different places that we can go to. Okay, let's make suggestions. What should we do? How do we go about this? Different people bring in their ideas. We put it up together. And
Wow.
there was a time we.
So your patrons are part of the decision-making process in terms of the ideas that you will.
Exactly. There was a time we actually had a tour, and it was for 24 hours. So imagine you not sleeping for the whole of 24 hours. It was a fun-filled tour, 24 hours from school down to a particular area, a venue that we picked up, and nobody, you won't even want to sleep because it is fun all the way.
All the way, every second of the way.
Exactly, and it was when everybody
and
get back.
selfies and photographs and
Pictures,
all those things
a whole lot of things. And what we tried to do when we did that was we tapped into different schools. At least 4 different students from, as in 4 different schools. We got like 4 or 5 students.
Okay, so you are still making new friends.
A connection, exactly. So it's more like a networking kind of thing. And you see people talking about their ideas and businesses and all.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, everybody is a win-win for everybody. It's not all about excursion or about tour alone. It's about getting to meet new people and getting new business ideas. When I was serving back in 2016, I met with some fellow COP members, and we were just talking about where we can go to. That was actually what brought about paintballing.
Really?
Yes. In 2016.
Because that's now answering my question. You've done a series of businesses before now.
Yes.
And I was going to find out, how did you come into pinball game now? So
back in 2016, I was talking to some of my friends, and we were like, okay, let's just do something. I told them I've been into tourism right from time when I was in school. So that I actually do this now. I called them. Then it was like, okay, let's come up with an idea, as usual. So
were you in the same school?
We're not in the same school. No.
Okay, you were in
Crescent University.
Crescent in Abeokuta.
I was in Lautech
Ogbomoso. So you called him up, hey guy.
No, it was even when I was serving. We were done with school in then. But he was in Ibadan. I was in Abeokuta because I was serving in Abeokuta. So I called him. I went to meet him at home. Okay, guy, what can we do? Then he was like, okay, let's go to Lagos. Lagos, yes. What can we gain in Lagos? Then we come about with the idea of Takwa Bay.
All right.
So we're like, okay, we want to go on a Friday, come back on a Sunday. Being on the beach at Takwa Bay will be, at some point, 24 hours, everybody will get bored.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can we do? Then a friend of mine suggested...
To add varieties to the experience.
Then someone suggested paintballing.
Wow.
Then he tapped into it, he checked it online, he looked at how the game is played and everything, and was like, okay, fine, this is fantastic. So that was what we do. On Friday, we went there, we did paintballing, about 27 of us. And when I was paying over 100,000. I was like, wow, okay. I think this is a really good business.
You looked at the amounts that it took out of you guys.
Exactly.
Twice.
Yes. So paintballing took out a whole lot of money whenever we are planning anything. So that was why we now came about with Father. Okay, fine. There are other places we can go to in Ibadan. But the fact is that there are no much fun places in Ibadan. When you talk about the cinema, you talk about Bastowa, that's a dead place because the place is not really maintained. So there are places we can actually
go. So
Ibadan,
you had this experience, and then the businessman in you realized that if I'm paying this much, only me and my cousin, if we're paying this much, all these other people that are coming here. So you did the arithmetic, you did the maths,
yes.
And then you began to put your brain to work. That okay, Ibadan.
We realized people
has limited
go
recreational
to
facilities
for the game. Like
people travel down to Lagos from different places just to play this game. And I've been hearing about paintball for a very long time, but I've not really. Okay, the first time I saw paintballing was in a movie. And then I never even knew the paintballing was in Lagos. I was just like, oh, I like to play this game. I like to do this. And at some point, I heard paintballing is in Lagos. Then we went for paintballing. We played it, and we forgot. Paintballing is an expensive game, but it is very interesting.
Wow.
By the time you finish playing paintball, you forget the amount you pay.
Sure. So you guys now realize that okay, there's a gap from Ibadan down to other parts of the southwest.
Exactly.
This doesn't exist. In fact, to the middle belt, to the southeast and south, and then you thought there's an opportunity here. How did you go about putting it together? I mean, because you conceived the idea from conceptualization to execution. I want to imagine there's a process that has gone down there.
A whole lot of process.
Share with us.
A whole lot.
Share with us.
I actually had to go online to read about paintball, like everything, how it came to be, and all it would take to have your own paintball arena.
You went to do a research. Like your BSc project.
I had to read so many things online,
okay.
YouTube. I had to, because we couldn't afford the people in Lagos to help us set up.
Come and consult for you.
Exactly. So we had to do this thing by ourselves.
So your own strategy for bypassing using consultants was to go and research.
Yes,
and get the knowledge.
Yeah, that was what we did. So
and you used online resources.
Online,
YouTube.
everything was online. We read about everything. Even
how long did this take?
The possible challenges that we could face.
Oh, really?
Yes, I had to read about everything.
That what challenges can we face?
Exactly, because while I was researching, I detected that the markers you can either use a CO2 tank or a HPA tank. That's high pressure air tank.
Okay.
So, and if you use a CO2 tank, I think is actually cheaper, but it has a whole lot of cons.
Okay.
To it. So I had to go read about everything, know the pros and cons to every.
So you sought to gain knowledge.
Yes.
And you did something that most people don't do. You were not just interested in knowledge that will make you to execute the task. You also went ahead to proactively seek out challenges, hindrances, impediments, and how the solutions can come.
The fact is, when we started paintballing, I can categorically say we went through a whole lot of challenge, especially the first.
No, we'll come to that. I want you to take us through the process of what you had to do, the tasks that you had to execute from conception to execution.
Okay.
You guys have told me now that the first thing you guys did was to go online and begin to research about paintball game.
Yeah.
And look at the impediments, the challenges, and anything that could be an hindrance, and the solutions to them.
Yes.
After that, what next?
Let's talk about the games.
How long did this take, this research, initial research? I know
actually,
that
the research
I know research is continuous, it never stops.
Actually, it didn't.
Up till now,
I still research on different
exactly, I
things.
expect that.
On
But
different
the
things about
initial
the
research that gave you the confidence that we're ready for the next
Yes,
stage of
just
this.
the beginner
How
research.
many?
Actually, I would say it took me about a week to be sure of what we really needed to kickstart the place. And I found out most of the things we would need are not in Nigeria.
Okay.
So I had to search for places where you can, like reliable sources of where you can get those equipment.
Okay.
And then the next
also
thing was,
online?
Yes, online. And the next thing was location. We started deliberating about where to put it in Ibadan. We were thinking of, okay, maybe getting a land somewhere or lease a land somewhere. But at the point we felt it would be so hard for us to drive people down to just a land where there's no other form
of activities or where people know about. So that was what brought about Agodi Gardens, because normally Agodi Garden has its own crowd. Yeah. So us going into
Agodi
Garden,
existing crowd.
Exactly. But when we got into Agodi Garden, we added more to the crowd.
Naturally, but like
we used their existing crowd to pull our own business.
Yes.
To raise it up.
It became a synergy.
Exactly. Yes. It was a win-win for us at the end of the day. But at the beginning, it was
a
win for us.
When you were deliberating on venue, what were the things you put into consideration? I mean, I know that business is about marketing, it's about selling. The traditional 4 P's of marketing: location, place, location, rings very high.
Yeah, location is
So
the key.
you must have taken cognizance of the fact that location is key to your success.
Yes, we.
So what were the variables
we had to
that
weigh-
determined that location for you? You already said that if you were going to get a piece of land where you will create that jungle experience, you're not going to get that in the heart of the city.
Apart from that, you're going to spend more.
We'll have
It
to
is-
spend more on publicity.
City, and it is more it is
that
cost
will
effective.
eat.
Like, it's too huge.
Yeah.
So getting Agodi Garden to set it up in there, it's a bit easier and less cost
Definitely
effective for us.
cost effective for you.
Exactly. So that's
Because again, you won't have to pay so much huge lease on a new set of land, and also the publicity and
so the only thing it took us to do at
Security.
Agodi Garden, and
Security.
security wise as well. So Agodi has an existing security
True.
measures that is in place.
True.
So that also is what we need, because of what we are into, markers and all. It needs a proper protection.
because it's recreation.
Exactly. So, and they are expensive gears.
Yeah.
So we need a good security measures that would help
For
us.
your equipment as
Exactly.
well as for your patrons.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Coming up.
Now, how did you raise the funds?
I sold my car. He went to get a loan.
Totally.
My girlfriend then, which is my wife now.
Did you set up a team of people to brainstorm on this location idea, or just the two of
It
you?
was just the 2 of us. Actually, we argued a lot.
We used to argue. Then
We
again,
argued a lot.
my girlfriend came in. So me, him, and my girlfriend. So when we started talking
Who is
about
now your wife?
who is now my wife? Yes. So
Your wife, who was your
Your
girlfriend?
who
at the
was my
time?
girlfriend at the time? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we started it together. Then later, I talked about it with her, and she was like, "Yeah, this thing is nice." Because
Because
the
we took
second
her-
time we went to for paintballing in Lagos, she followed us.
Okay.
And she really played nice.
And she had the experience. too.
Exactly. So she was like, she's interested in this thing. Okay, let's pull it. Let's do this. So she was more of a ginger to us as well. So that was how we all started.
But you argue a lot.
We did.
We fight,
And-
We did.
not argue.
Exactly.
We fight a lot about this thing before we could
So
come up.
when you come up with ideas, you don't no hard feelings
No.
when you're arguing and you're fighting.
No hard feelings.
And your parents are used to it, I want to assume.
Trust me, the way we argue, sometimes we argue in the middle of the night and they
They
get
call
to
us.
call us that you guys are making noise because we stay in different flats. You understand? So
Your parents will call you that. Okay, they will not say stop arguing. They will just say keep your voice low.
At some point,
they'll
they
be
don't even pick their
is,
calls.
is a match going on? We're like, no. we
they
just-
actually think we're watching a football match. You know that causes
And
a
you're
lot of
arguing over
argument.
ideas.
Exactly, that's how it
And
works.
that for me, if you will allow me to chip in, is the way brainstorming sessions should be. No hard feelings. Let everybody bring their ideas to the table and let's grill it together. That way you get the best. But you see, we are in a society where people begrudge other people when they bring counter ideas or opinions during brainstorming session, and some people tend to just want to keep quiet and okay, if that's what they want, and that ends up with the bad idea. So
Trust me.
there's a lesson that I think a lot of people can learn from this now, which is that during brainstorming session, argue your idea, bring it forward, speak up. And after the whole thing has died down, no hard feelings, you still continue. The following day, other things will call. All right, so you've chosen location. How did you convince the management of Agodi Gardens
You know,
to lease that space for you?
it takes who knows who to get some things here in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we were
You
able
leveraged
to-
on your relationships.
on the relationship that someone had with the management.
Okay.
So that was what we used.
And they could
And
trust that
actually,
person
they
anyway.
Told,
Exactly.
They told us the manager was interested in a game like
In
that.
the game that the manager was actually
Oh.
planning to do the same.
Oh.
But I think because of the fact that they don't have the knowledge and how to go about it, because it takes you to hire expatriates
Yeah. Yeah.
to set it up for you, and that's huge. But we already know
You
what we're
bypassed
up
that
for.
by just
we
going
bypassed
online
that.
and doing your research.
We had our mistakes. There were a lot of mistakes by doing that.
I was
but
going to-
we
I was
learned
going
part
to
time.
ask-
We learned part time. That was what happened. Like I said earlier, our first month, second month, There are a lot of issues. You know, there are sometimes, okay, like the day we wanted to launch, it was that very day we got to know that we didn't put something in place. We had to be running helter-skelter.
In fact, I was going to ask you that one of the reasons why a lot of people use consultants is to avoid errors that could be costly.
Trust me.
Since you didn't have the funds to hire consultants, your own way of bypassing that is to say, hey, you know what? Let's go and read up this stuff. Let's go and research this stuff. Let's contact different people. There will still be oversights,
definitely,
which will have cost you some money. You didn't mind that.
We didn't mind.
That's quite courageous of you. That's quite courageous. Now, how did you raise the funds? Because it's one thing for you to know what to put in place. It's one thing for you to be able to leverage an existing relationship to get a space. It's another thing for you to be able to gather the equipment
The
together.
fund is
Did you
not
buy on
easy,
credit?
trust me. I sold my car.
Really?
I was supposed to add money to it to get another car, but I diverted it into pinballing. He went to get a loan.
You sold your car to fund the business?
Yes. He went to get a loan.
That's courageous. You went to take a loan?
Yes.
You were that convinced?
Yes.
We knew where we were.
My girlfriend then, which is my wife, now emptied her account.
Empty the account?
Yes. I can categorically say she emptied all her business money. She emptied her account. Dropped it. Then our parents.
So you guys just took a bold step.
Yes. And our parents supported us too.
Yeah, because you have started.
Exactly.
And that's what I do tell a lot of young people out there when they complain. I say, look, start this thing. Don't begrudge people for not helping you. Because they say, oh, they're not giving up, they're not helping me. I said, don't begrudge anyone because nobody's going to put his money on a virgin land. Why don't you start something? When you start and people see how serious you are, how committed you are, how conscientious and diligent you are, then people will feel free, they'll feel encouraged to bring their own funds to add to it. And that's the template that you guys have used now. You went about raising money by yourselves, all three of you, and then when your parents saw what you have done, they came in handy with their own support.
Exactly.
And was that sufficient for you to launch out?
No, it wasn't.
Despite that?
We managed.
Okay, so what that means is that you had to scale down.
Yeah, we started on a minimum level.
Minimum.
Then after like 5 months, we pumped
When
in
you had
another
generated
capital.
revenue.
We pumped in another capital to make it up to standard.
So you started small.
Yeah, we started small.
The most minimum.
We started very
level.
small.
And then very small.
Yes.
And when you started to generate revenue, you were putting your revenue back in the business.
Exactly. You know, when I said we started very small, we started with 10 gears. Now we have about 26 gears. So
you're plowing the resources generated by the business back into the business.
Exactly.
Have you bought your car now?
Yes, I was supposed to, but at some point,
you put the money back in the
back
business.
into the business. So, but you know, but I have a car that I drive, so that's why I'm not bothered.
Yeah, but I mean, for you to still insist that I'm not going to use this money to go and start buying cars or
actually,
to start
it's
flexing or family.
because we're having another arena.
That is the reason why we didn't get another car.
Maya, that answers a lot of questions. So you guys are already on your second arena.
Yeah,
Yes.
due to be launched by next month.
Really?
Yes.
So you are not even content with what you have now. You're already setting up a second one.
That was because we can't.
Is it the one
we couldn't
Ibadan is
service.
so large.
We couldn't service everybody. Ibadan is so large. We have people complain that where our location is far from where they are.
You have one in Agodi Gardens now.
Exactly.
Where's the second one coming
Liberty
up?
Stadium.
You've divided Ibadan into two.
There are two extreme ends.
Yeah,
it
I
works
know.
better for us.
I know, because there's I mean, who taught you all these marketing principles about location? Because, I mean, the elites in Ibadan are concentrated around Agodi, Bodija, axis.
Exactly.
Then the student population of UI, Polytechnic, among others in this axis. And then on the other side, there are about 5 or 4 tertiary institutions on the other side, around Ring Road. The elites are also concentrated around Ring Road. And here you are, planting something for the elites around and the middle class around Liberty Stadium, which is also another place that has a high volume of traffic.
Yes, and what we are planning to set up at Liberty Stadium is much more than paintballing. Like
no, you can boast. And if you market here, I'm going to send you an invoice.
No, I'm not actually saying what we're doing, but we are going to surprise everybody.
So the revenue that you are generating, rather than pull it together to go and buy the latest car, you decide to set up another center. That's quite inspiring and quite motivating. And I hope that a lot of our young people out there can learn some lessons from here. The loans that you took at that time, I bet you've already paid them off.
Definitely, yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Now, what were the challenges you faced? Because it couldn't have been easy peasy, as you have stated, when you were trying to set up.
There are a lot of challenges.
You took a deep sigh.
The challenges is there are lots.
Before execution of the
before the
idea.
execution, because the first thing we faced was when we wanted to get our gears from the US. You know, we had to try to get a police report, we tried to do a whole lot of things just for customs to seize our stores. But at the end of the day, we still got into that issue because we were meant to launch on the 31st of March 2018, but because of custom issues, we had to postpone it to 7th of April. And as at then, we were already getting a lot of words on social media.
Wow.
Because when we wanted to start on social media, we stated our price, and so many Lagosians said it is not possible to play a paintball at that price because we are playing like almost half, or even let me say less than half of what they used to play in Lagos. So when most of them were like, no, it's not possible.
A lady said, run down.
A lady said we're going to run down in 2 months. So
I'll come to that.
Okay.
Let's highlight the challenges first. You had that challenge initially of registration,
shipping in was a challenge.
Making it legal.
Okay.
Getting the proper documents.
The documentation.
Exactly.
So it was frustrating, but you were able to waddle through and you stuck to it.
Exactly.
What kept you going at that time?
We started it. We needed to finish.
We have to
You need to see it to a logical.
Yeah.
Exactly. We've put in a lot.
So for you, it's about we got to just keep this
It's a
thing
do or
going.
die affair.
Do or die.
Yes.
Wow.
And especially because it's been running in Lagos, so why?
So if some set of people can run it, so what's the
Do they
difference?
have
The
two
only
heads?
difference we have is probably they're richer than we are, but then it doesn't really matter.
I like you guys' spirit, honestly. And I don't know, where did you get all this courage and this philosophy and this ethos? Where did you get it from?
There's something I used to tell my wife. I might not be working in a big company that will give me millions of naira at the end of the year, but then I want to drive a Range Rover and a Bentley as well. So I have to go into.
And you don't want to do Yahoo.
Exactly. So I need to do a whole lot of businesses on different angles. When you have 3, 4, 5 businesses giving you money, then you're good.
So that's your motivation.
I went to Lautech.
Yeah.
Intimidation, we condone not. That is our word.
Okay.
So, and the only thing that can make us be of standard with other people is doing something that will make us earn our own respect. It's not like I have $1 million or something that I kept in my account, but all these so-called rich people, students, they respected us a whole lot.
While you were in school?
Exactly.
Because of your entrepreneurial
Because of our
spirit.
entrepreneurial spirit and the things we do. Like when we're organizing shows, we bring in artists. Artists that their money will make them get to see. But the fact that we have the connection and we know what it takes to meet up with the artists, when we bring them down, they want to meet with them.
Yeah, but you've got this can-do attitude. Where did you get it from? It's not very common. It's much more common with our young people, with our brothers and sisters from the Southeast. It's not very common with people from the Southwest. I'm sorry, I do apologize if that sounds somewhat, but Southwesterners, we tend to play safe, we tend to look for safe havens, we just tend to want to look for a job and get a salary and just play it safe, unlike our brothers from the Southeast who will face these challenges headlong. And that's what you guys have done. So I'm saying, where did you get it from? Is there anybody in your lineage from that part of the country?
No.
So it was just your own way of
Exactly.
the attitude you have in your head. Now let's go to the launch. After it was launched, how did you get patrons to come into the facilities?
Online publicity.
Mainly that?
Yes.
Before we even launched, we had to get some influencers on board.
Oh, social media influencers.
Exactly.
Yes.
On Twitter.
All social media.
Did you have to pay them?
Yes.
Actually, we have a brother that helped, but yeah.
Again, you leveraged on relationship.
Exactly.
Yes,
So
it helped, but we had to pay
little.
little.
Yeah, you didn't pay
Not
as
to-
much
not
as you
even
would
to
have.
him, to the other team members.
So you still leveraged on relationship.
Yes.
And part of what I'm learning from you again is that startup capital does not have to be financial alone.
Yes.
Your relationships can also be part of your startup capital.
Exactly.
When you want to set up a business.
Yes.
Social capital, some have called it social capital. Intellectual capital is another. You didn't have intellectual capital initially. Instead of you getting someone to come and train you, you didn't have the money to pay the person. Instead of you getting a consultant who already had the intellectual capital to come and execute the idea for you, you didn't have the money. So you just went out there to get intellectual capital yourself. So here again, you're leveraging on relationship. So your first marketing were conducted on digital media, in the digital space. And to hasten it, you leveraged on existing influencers.
Exactly.